We'll finish with Easykart Masters. We caught up with Sam Dimolo earlier, and a gate crasher.
Sam, final race of the weekend about to come up. You're leading the championship. You had a good round last time. Just talk us through that. How did that go for you?
Well, I got a good start. Managed to break away from Ben after 2 or 3 laps and just kept it clean. Just stayed on the line and didn't make any mistakes.
And you're always consistent, of course, and Joe usually is. He's not around at the moment, but he's not been so consistent this week. I'm saying he's not around. Here he is. Joe, just talking about your inconsistencies this season. I think you're down in 14th place. I think you had a disqualification, though, didn't you? And you can drop that score, I guess.
Yeah, from what we've heard of the rules and regs, we can. It was a difficult decision, but I think it was a wrong decision. Which the driver I overtook said I was ahead of him by that corner, but in the day he got overruled or whatever. But we can still do it. We had the same bad round last year, and we came out on top at the end of the year. So there's no reason why not.
But Sam's pretty consistent this year, isn't he? So he's going to be a tough cookie to crack for you this year, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's very consistent this year. We've had our blip of the season, and hopefully he'll have his blip, but at the moment he's looking strong, and yeah, we'll see how the rest of the season goes halfway through, but we'll see how it goes.
I think you've put it on pole in the time qualifying session, haven't you? So this is clearly the track you like. Do you like the changes that they've made to the track? It's a lot smoother now.
It's definitely a lot smoother. It flows a lot better. We're really struggling with the grip. There's so much grip here. Everyone is literally on 2 wheels around all the corners, and the track extension's good as well. It's changed it, made it. In my opinion, it's got rid of the worst corner and put in a really good one.
Okay, guys, well, good luck this weekend. We look forward to a right royal battle between you two.
You know, with those two in the same morning nowadays, it's like the early days of Senna and Prost. It's playful, but there's a quiet rivalry underneath, and they've taken it to the front row of the grid. Yeomans and Fisher on the second, Rainbird and Richardson on the third. From Friday, Fisher, Tim Hill and Ben Nichols rounding out the top 10. Keep an eye on Mark Lawrence. He's starting P14 this time alongside Stig Elboth, so it's going to be a really interesting battle right from the front. Who will draw blood this time at Ellough Park? Patterson or Dimolo? Round turn 11. The rain has eased off, you can see, but the track is still very wet. Away we go. Great start from the front of the field. And who's going to get the lead? It looks like Dimolo's just going to hold it. Patterson's going to have to go round to the outside. And I think he's already lost the place too. Who's that moved into second position? Couldn't quite see. That's Yeomans who's got him into second place. So Yeomans has already split the two of them. Joe Patterson's got back through, though. You can see that into second place behind Sam Dimolo, our championship leader. And as they make their way through turn 4 for the first time, a couple of drivers running wide, but they have all got through without incident. So it's a lot cleaner than the senior lights were, but there's definitely a great race in the offing. Up to 4th position. That's the 232 who's in there now. That is Jim Rainbird. Richardson's in the mix as well. Up the inside, there goes Patterson to the lead. Dimolo manages to get him back on the undercut though. Patterson just a little bit too fast into the braking zone. So where is Richardson at the moment? There he is in P5, right on the back of Rainbird and wanting to move up. So the two leaders are trying to break away. Look at that, they've already got a gap. But not if Joe Richardson's got anything to say about it. He's into P4 because through to 3rd goes Rainbird. It's Yeomans who drops back into P5 as they make their way through turn 2, through turn 3. And Richardson is already starting to move up towards Jim Rainbird. He's the leading Grand Master, of course, of this class. And he goes a little bit wide. Here comes Richardson, going to try and get through. No, you don't. That's Jim Rainbird you're fighting with. Don't you know he's not going to fall for that? So Dimolo leads, Patterson second, Rainbird, Richardson, Yeomans, and the battle for 6th position heating up just behind as well. We moved away at the wrong time. It looked as if there was a change of position. Here it comes towards us. Up the inside goes Richardson though. He takes the move on Rainbird. Gets that done, or does he? Rainbird trying to fight back. No, you don't. Richardson's smart to that one. 3rd position he goes. Rainbird 4th, then Yeomans. Then it's the battle of the fishermen in 6th and 7th place. Neil Fisher just in front of Sam Fisher. We're looking at Yeomans now in 4th position. Now in 5th position, of course, because he's dropped back behind both Richardson and Yeomans. They squabble their way through turns 2 and 3. Up towards the tighter apexes of the corners they go then. Through turn 2, through turn 3. It's a double apex, really. And still great squabbles in the field. That's the 174 going for it up the inside. Matt Thomas makes the move. And he's battling away there, but it doesn't work on the exit. 236, and while Beryl Smith gets him back. And to the inside there, the 193 tries to get his move in. Now that is Jake White-Rowell. So a really good battle between those boys in the mid-pack. Fighting at the front, fighting in the midfield, fighting at the back. It's always the way in the Masters. So through they go once again, and that's a nice cheeky move up the inside for George Friday. He managed to make up a place there right at the tail end of the lap into turn 10. And Fisher, that's Sam Fisher, in front of Neil Fisher now, so he's managed to swap the places over. Good little battle going on between those two. And 196 towards the tail of that battle, that's Tim Hill. He's changed numbers this weekend, so that's an interesting one. But he's now down towards the tail of the battle. There's Beryl Smith battling it out with Matt Thomas, and still the 193 in there. That is Jake White-Rowell. Can he get the move done? Well, he's going to have to be careful because on the tail of all of them is Andrew English in the 224. So it's really tightening up with those four. But still, Dimolo, Patterson, and look who's joined the party. It's Joe Richardson. He's right on the back. So not only are we going to have the two main rivals in this championship fighting out, Richardson's going to throw a spanner into the works as well. Into turn 1. Dimolo, Patterson, and Richardson. They leave the apex of turn 1. They all use plenty of curb. Down the short stretch, into turn 2. 3 very different racing lines from 3 very different racing drivers. Interesting in these conditions. They all have a very different way of going about it. Again, even the exit of turn 4, they all have very different attitudes to it. Easy Man in 4th place. Rainbird still leading that little charge. 5th position. Well, we left it at really the wrong moment. It was just starting to heat up, actually. But this is the battle we want to see. We're on board with Dimolo, leading the championship, leading the race, braking hard, but Patterson's got through. Dimolo's going to try and get it back again. He's got it, but I think Patterson will still be there to his left. There he is, and there goes Richardson too. So Richardson's gone into 2nd position. Dimolo goes from 1st to 3rd. So now what can Richardson do about the leader, Joe Patterson? Now, to a certain extent, Patterson is going to spend the most part of the rest of this season playing catch-up. Yes, he can have that dropped score, but he will know that even without that dropped score, he's on the back foot a bit. Dimolo has shown him a very strong pace all the way through the early part of this season, and his championship status is under threat. He's won it in the last 3 years, don't forget. Dimolo now charging up towards Richardson once more. Joe Richardson's no slouch either. He's a regular front runner. Out of turn 8, down the short stretch to 9. Tight right here. Oh, it looks as though the rain is starting to fall again. We can see it to the far side of the circuit around turn 1, turn 2, turn 3. So that is where the rain is falling from, and that's going to make things difficult. Up the inside comes Mark Lawrence. Good move on the inside. Well, it was, until the undercut came from Stig Elboth, the 227. So Stig has got through. That really is the Stig. You can't debate that one. So down the straight, and you can see the rain falling now on the cameras. It is going to get really tricky down to the braking zone for turn 1 as the 174 very nearly goes into the barriers. Matt Thomas, he manages to save it while he's in the middle of that fight with Jake White-Rowell. It's going to be 2 or 3 wide into turn 1. That was very close as White-Rowell holds his own round the outside and keeps the place. He's been the leading rookie at every round of this year's championship so far, and it looks as though he's out to do it again today. Definitely very strong form from him. As up the inside, there goes Tim Hill, making the move on the 174. Tried to shut the door firmly on Matt Thomas there as well. That was close. And still, Stig is holding on in front of the 9, Mark Lawrence even. I was going to say George Friday, but he's a little bit further up the road, I think. In fact, that's him on the back of Yeomans, squabbling away as the rain gets really hard on the main straight. In fact, Friday's going for Yeomans at the first corner. Oh, we cut away at really the wrong moment, and that's a penalty on the scoreboard. It's for the man at the front of this queue, Mark Lawrence, the 9. So that will be a penalty. Now, I don't know what the penalty is going to be for just yet. We'll have to have a look into it. But that's obviously going to ruin his resolve for the rest of this race, because he knows wherever he finishes, he's going to get a penalty. That's Anwar Beryl Smith trying to close up to the front of this little queue, as up the inside has a look again, the 193, Jake White-Rowell, the leading rookie, and he might have seen that digital scoreboard as well, knowing that the man in front of him has got a penalty, so that might give him the motivation to get past. Meanwhile, Yeomans and Friday closing right up on the man just in front of them. Rainbird goes through, then it's Neil Fisher, then Sam Fisher, then Yeomans and Friday. So that's the order in the squabble from 4th position downwards. So that's 6th, 7th and 8th Yeomans and Friday. And then we look back, and this is just the lower end of the top 10 we're squabbling over. And it's now Jake Rowell-Smith and Anwar Beryl-Smith who are in the top 10 positions. Mark Lawrence seems to have fallen away from it. Mark Lawrence doesn't appear to be coming round anymore. I wonder if he had a problem anyway, because Mark Lawrence is not with that top group any longer. So big drama then. He gets a penalty and then he retires from the race anyway. Problems there for Lawrence as Richardson up the inside. He's timed that one beautifully and he gets Joe Patterson napping. Fantastic overtake as the rain again intensifies down the main straight. Richardson looking strong here at Ellough Park, and Patterson, oh, he almost tagged with him as they went round the first corner. Patterson's going to shape up another move. Dimmelow's disappearing behind them. It's almost as if he's thrown the anchor out of the back of the cart. Now Rainbird and Fisher are closing up on each other. Well, Neil is closing in on Jim Rainbird, I should say. Look at the squabble outside the top 10. It is mighty at the moment. There's Beryl Smith, 9th and 10th positions. And this is back to Fisher in, what is that, 6th position, with Yeomans and Friday just in behind. Now Rainbird is under some pressure from Neil Fisher. Sam Fisher has got Yeomans and Friday on the tail. And Richardson, not only has he got past Patterson in the lead, he's pulling away. And there's Dimmelow. He might as well be dragging a piano at the back of that car for the amount of time he's losing to the leaders. This is not like Sam Dimmelow at all. He's really struggling in the wet condition. Look at that! The rain has really got strong. Now, it was like this just before the start, and we think Richardson went onto a set of new wets before the race got underway, while the other two behind, Patterson and Dimmelow, were on used wets. Now, anybody who at this stage, with the rain getting very heavy, on new wets is going to benefit, because they will have more grip affordable to them in this stage of the race, and that could be crucial in deciding who gets the podium and who doesn't. There's Neil Fisher running in the top 4. And he has got Jim Rainbird behind him now, so maybe he's been able to work an advantage too. Very heavy at this side of the circuit as Richardson just continues to get on with it. Patterson, he's not doing badly considering he's on used wets. He's staying with Richardson at the moment, but Dimmelow dropping back. Now there's 4th position. That is Neil Fisher in front of Jim Rainbird. Jim Rainbird, the leading Grandmaster. His best result this year was actually at the 3rd round of the championship, and that was 7th place. So Rainbird's having a good run in 5th position, although he was at one point, at the very start of the race, of course, battling for the lead. Here are the leaders. Dimmelow wiping his visor, obviously struggling to see in these conditions. Black and white flag going out. I'm not at all surprised. You try and deal with track limits in the middle of this. And Friday has lost ground because Yeomans has got past Sam Fisher, I think it is. 4 minutes left on the clock. It's really heavy at this part of the circuit. Everybody's slipping and sliding all over the place, and it's only going to get worse. There is Rainbird still trying to close up on Neil Fisher, the 282, who's having a good drive here. Yeomans is through into 6th position, so that puts Sam Fisher down to 7th. And unfortunately, George Friday in 8th position in Kart 8, not really able to keep up with them. So there's Rainbird having another look towards Neil Fisher. He's just not close enough. Neil just checking over his shoulder, making sure he's still there, making sure he's not too close. This is where we're going to get to see some Colin McRae-style power slides from the drivers, because at certain points of the circuit, it's actually faster to drive the kart that way, on the limit. A quick flick of the brake even, maybe a blip of the throttle to carry the energy of the kart through the apex. And this is where, look at that sharp precision steering from Richardson. He caught a wet patch, but he slowed the kart down beautifully, let the energy of the kart carry him through the corner, and he was able to bring it under control. Even there, it looks out of control. It looks as if the kart is snapping away from him. No, Joe Richardson knows exactly what the kart is doing. It's sliding. He can use the energy of the kart's travel through the corner to his benefit to set him up for the next. It's a brilliant strategy, and he's driving absolutely beautifully here. So too Joe Patterson. It's about which one of them makes a mistake first at the moment. They're almost even, and that's incredible considering that Patterson is on used tyres compared to Richardson up in front, who's on new tyres. And all of this is also playing into the hands of your man in 6th position, Ben Yeomans. He's catching these two rapidly. Look, he's right on the back now of Jim Rainbird. In this lap, he could go from 6th position to 4th. So that's the man we need to be watching. There's Sam Fisher. George Friday dropping back a little bit. Everybody else seemingly out of contention now. Richardson and Patterson still going well. Where is Dimmelow? He's nowhere compared to these two. That is a surprise. Dimmelow, the championship leader, he just hasn't picked the right tyres for this, but this is magnificent. Patterson right on the tail. It is getting close to torrential, the rain now, but Richardson still hanging on. Patterson just shadowing his every move. 1 minute 40 on the clock. Still plenty of time to make this victory his own, Joe Patterson. He just needs to stay patient. Richardson has good control and good grip at the moment. Patterson is matching him for lap times. He's still right with him. Richardson going wide. Has he been able to hold on to the lead there? We cut away to Rainbird trying to defend from Yeomans. And that's the tail end of the field. So a good little battle going on just outside the top 10, I think this is. Oh no, that might just be the top 10. Beryl Smith in front of Rowell Smith as they scrap away for position. That's the 196 Tim Hill having a go at the 227. That's the Stig. That's the Stig, Stig Elboth, and he's up the inside. Tim Hill gets the move. So Richardson now in front of Patterson, getting closer though, Joe Patterson. This race isn't done, and we're about to go on to the penultimate lap. So 2 laps to go it will be as they come through this time. Patterson's having a go. Richardson having to hit the defense button. Patterson's really going for it. He knows he's on the back foot. He knows that with that earlier problem in the season, he's got to drop the score and he's got to stay consistent and try and beat Dimolo as many times as he possibly can through the season. Richardson swarms across the circuit trying to show Joe Patterson, this is my race. If you want it, you're going to have to work harder than you've ever worked before in your life. Here they come again. 4th position battle. It's tightening up again, isn't it? Still the man in front, Neil Fisher, in that little squabble with Rainbird and your man in 6th place, Yeoman's closing up. Here comes Patterson. He wants to go for it. He's got space up the inside. Richardson's having to hesitate. They're almost connected and Patterson's through on the penultimate lap. Patterson has taken the lead. Richardson's going to have to need something superb to get back through. But Joe Patterson, this is crucial. He's going to get the victory here with his main championship rival Sam Dimolo in 3rd position, unless Joe Richardson can steal that lead back. He's going for it into turn 10. He's through, but round the outside, Patterson's still got a chance to charge up the inside. That's a beautiful sweep into the last lap. Can he get there? They're squabbling under braking. Back to the inside. Patterson's through. Magnificent. The rain coming down, big style. Patterson's your fastest man of the race, and it's still not done. Patterson and Richardson both kick up the grass on the inside of the apex of turn 2. They squabble through turn 3, but Patterson's got daylight between himself and Richardson. That could be critical in the championship fight. Has Richardson got anything else left? Yes, he has, because Patterson squabble. Richardson's going to go round the outside. He hasn't got space to do it. He has to back out of it. He's still got a chance. He's still got a chance to do this. Patterson's defending. Turn 7, turn 8. Richardson's all over him. Oh, I can barely watch this one. I know what he's going to do. Round the outside. They bang side pods, bang wheels. He's not going to be able to get through. He puts his arm in the air. What's he doing? I'll tell you what he's doing. He's trying to win a motor race, Joe. What have you got? Here he comes. He's got good pace on the throttle. He's going to go side by side to the line. Who's going to get it? It's Patterson by 61 thousandths of a second. It couldn't have been closer. Absolutely brilliant squabble. And there is Dimolo in 3rd position. Shrug of the shoulders. Oh well, we'll get him at Gladygorse. Absolutely amazing squabble in that race. We look back to 4th place. It's Neil Fisher and then Yeomans who just beats Rainbird over the line. I tell you what, the Masters were not going to be outdone by the Senior Lights, were they? What an amazing battle all the way to the finish. 7th position for Sam Fisher in front of George Friday. Anwar Beryl Smith is 9th. Matt Thomas was 10th over the line, but he's been docked 2 places for an infringement. Behind Tim Hill and Stig Elboth, he drops. But Joe Patterson takes a big psychological upper hand.
For me, watching that, and I think for everybody else, that's probably one of the best Senior Masters finals we've watched, especially with the battle you had out there with Joe Richardson. Tell me about your race.
Yeah, well, the first 6 laps, the kart felt unbelievable. It was just good, really quick. We finally got past Sam, and I believe we pulled away. But then as soon as the rain started, I think I've overcooked my tyres. And we fell right back. Joe got past and just couldn't do nothing. But I don't know, I just got it together, and we started reeling back in. And I knew if I overtook him, we'd come back, so I had to get my racecraft sorted, and we got past him and defended to hold the lead, and that's what we've done.
Yeah, no, excellent. There was a point in the race where it stopped raining and it just started to dry up a little bit, and that, I think, gave you a bit of an advantage over Joe, because he started to pull back. Once you got in front of him, he then started to lose ground on you when it just started to go, and then the rain came again, and that gave Joe Richardson the opportunity to catch you and pass you again. But I must say, I mean, I think that possibly Joe Richardson's car may have been better in the wet, but I think you showed your class there to get past him and take that race win. So, I mean, what do you think on that?
Yeah, well, I noticed on the grid when we were there, me and Sam had used rubber, used wets, and I think a lot of Club 100, but I know Joe had new wets, so that's where I knew, right, when it's raining he's going to go. But at the end of the day, we used my overtaking to get past him and showing the true champion, and held the lead, and showing it ain't over until we cross that line.
Absolutely. No, fantastic race, Joe. It was really great to watch, so thank you very much for the entertainment. And Joe Richardson as well, I think we need to say congratulations and thanks to him. But so we're moving on now to Glenigor's Park. One of your favourites?
Oh, yes. Teesside was until till earlier in the year. But, yeah, no, I like Glenny. Hopefully it's dry. But you never know. John's not there, my mechanic, that weekend. He's not having a baby, my sister's having a baby. So we've got Graham Gordon. He's going to come down to see us all. So, new mechanic, but they ain't going to stop me winning.
I'm sure Graham Gordon will look after you at Glenigor's Park, mate. Listen, Joe, thanks again and well done. Well done.
Cheers, thank you.
Well, that victory is critical to Patterson's campaign. His drop score means he's out of the running for the moment, but when it's taken into account, Dimolo, the championship leader, he knows that Patterson will be right in the mix. So it could go down to the wire. I can't wait for the next round of the championship, which takes us to the beautiful Glenigor's Park circuit in North Wales. We'll see you then, but until then, there's an Easykart Cadet Academy coming up. So anybody watching with a youngster who wants to get into the world of motor racing, the 10th of August at Wilton Mill is their chance to get behind the wheel for the first time. Head to the Easykart UK website for more details, and we'll see you at Glenigor's.